Now let's take a look at some distributive property problems involving negatives. Now you'll notice I already took my yellow highlighter and I highlighted the negative in front of all of the numbers we're going to be distributing. So that's a key part. So you may want to start using a highlighter when you distribute, but that is up to you. I highly encourage it. Now, if you're not using a highlighter, sometimes I use my pen and I circle this -4, and then I draw the arrow to everything inside. So either the highlighter or circling will be my reminder that this is a -4 that we're multiplying by. Well, a -4 times x is a -4x. Here is the tricky part. A -4 times a +7. So there's two ways to look at this. A -4 times a +7 is a -28. So be very, very careful. So what I highlighted here, a negative times a positive is negative. This is my final answer for letter A. Now, some of you may have done this, and you're going to distribute, and you have -4 times x is -4x, plus a -4 times 7 is a -28. Believe it or not, these two expressions are the same. -4x minus 28 is equivalent to adding a negative. So subtraction is the same as adding a negative. Now, I prefer just to do this right here, but I want you to make sure that you understand these two expressions are equivalent. All right, for letter B, I'm going to do -6 times 3, so that's -18, and -6 times +2. So a negative times a positive is -12x. Now again, in the previous video I talked about if you have a coefficient with a variable, I'm going to actually put that first. So I'm going to just take this term and move it to the front, and I have -12x minus 18. So this is going to be my final answer for B. For C, we're going to do -6 times 2. So a -6 times a +2 is -12p. But be careful, a -6 times a -5 is a +30. So a negative times a negative is positive. So if you want to highlight that positive to remind you, oh, that's how. A negative times a negative is positive. That is the final answer for C. Now for D, do not make that 6. Do not subtract first. Order of operations says multiplication, which is the distributive property, multiplication comes before addition or subtraction. So just leave the 9 here. A -3 times y is a -3y, and a -3 times a +8 is -24. Now we need to combine like terms. So now I need to combine my 9 and my -24. And 9 minus 24, just leave your -3y, 9 minus 24 is -15. So that is the final answer for D. Okay, let's do 2 more in this video, and then the next one will do the examples with combining like terms. Oh, be careful with E. A -4 times a -5 is a +20x, and a -4 times a -2 is a +8. That is the final answer for E. Last but not least, do not make this a 7. You do need to distribute the 2 first. So leave the 5 here, and +2 times 12 is +24. And a +2 times a -4 is a -8x. We can combine our like terms, so I get 29 minus 8x, but I prefer to put the variable in front, so I have -8x plus 29.